very big focus on education, not necessarily just selling shears. And of course, it shows through this very amazing event that they put together. So one more time, thank you, Sharkfin, and thank you, Willie, for all of that. Of course, we're also going to give a shout out to Pivot Point, who myself and Jason, also the additional presenter here, is going to be sharing some information. Now, Pivot Point has very generously provided the mannequins to the different presenters, and especially this session here that you'll be seeing Jason work on. We are very proud to be using these mannequins across these sessions, and on a day-to-day basis, these are the mannequins we work on all the time. And it's not just a matter of quality, the amazing implantation, the hair density, the way in which every bit of it is made, that quality is really second to none. But also because of the ethical manufacturing standards that Pivot Point uses in producing these mannequins. Really ensuring that, again, those work environments, the process for all of this, really believe in ethical production and manufacturing standards for these mannequins. Again, you'll get a chance to see those in action. The other thing I want to let you know right off the get-go here is make sure you stick around to the end of the session. We are going to be offering up an opportunity for you guys to win a very awesome and amazing prize bundle from the partners of these sessions. Again, this is going to be valued at over $1,000. You're going to be looking at a variety of tools from Andis, Ergo, Pivot Point, and Sharkfin. But stay tuned all the way through to the end for some of that exciting information. What I'd like to make sure I share with all of you now is a bit of information on who your presenter will be today. Again, we're going into the topic of fluidity. And through this, Jason Russell, we'll go ahead and share some information on that. Jason Russell is going to be your lead artist on the seminar. He is the learning engagement and artistic manager for Pivot Point International. Make sure you also follow Jason Russell over on Instagram to take a look at all the incredible looks that he provides. His Instagram handle is JER9776, and I'll make sure I put that in the chat for all of you. Myself, I'm Daniel Dunworth, the Learning Engagement and Development Manager. I'll be here to help you guys get your questions answered. So please use the Q&A session and also the chat. Ask any questions that you have about what Jason is sharing or anything that you'd like to know some more information on. We'd be happy to answer those and help those out. But Jason, of course, an opportunity to say hello, but would you also like to explain a couple of the looks that we will be seeing on today's seminar?
Absolutely. Thank you, Daniel, for that. My friends, thank you again for joining here for our Fluidity Collection preview. As you can see, we have been in the workshops and we have been creating some beautiful new images on the left. Today, you're going to be learning how to do this excellent, beautiful two-stranded knot. Also, on the right, you can see we'll do a classic chignon, and then we'll be able to take it one step further and see how this is deconstructed. Stick around. I can't wait to show you how these looks are going to turn out.
Awesome. So again, with that, just a reminder, make sure that you do utilize the Q&A session all throughout. And just a reminder so everyone knows that these sessions are being recorded. So the hopes is you'll get an opportunity to see many of them in the future. So stay tuned for how that can happen. But Jason, we've got you all set. I'd love for you to go ahead and take us through it, sir.
Well, thank you, Daniel. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It's so glad to be here with you to show you fluidity. Our first look that I'm going to move into with you today is going to be that beautiful classic rounded chignon. We are going to be able to satisfy two different clientele today with this look. One, leaving it in a classic state, and then taking it one step further and putting it in a more organic editorial state by deconstructing. You'll see some general rules and best practices for deconstructing. Our first look is going to be executed on my beautiful mannequin Diana. So any of you that are really interested in becoming fantastic, phenomenal long hair and are still in those practicing modes, this mannequin would be a great one for you to start off with for the Diana. So I'm going to get the camera up and close and personal so that you can see exactly what we're going to be doing on our very first look, the classic chignon. So I'm going to readjust. Give me one moment. We want you to really be able to see here up close and personal. And we're going to drop her down. Here we go, my friends. Our first thing that we're going to do today is talk about excellent ponytail placement. So when we think about ponytail placement, it's key today for this look that we're going to be taking her at the crown. So everyone, a good rule of thumb with ponytail placement is taking a hot blow dryer and concentrator and skimming across the hair in the direction that you're going to be placing your ponytail. So prior to, I used a blow dryer to skim the hair back to my ponytail's point of origin. This, as you can see, has really helped the hair lay smoothly across the head. That's called a directional blow dry. So by doing that prior to, you're going to get a much smoother result whenever going in with that ponytail. The second thing before getting started is we're going to apply a very small amount of pomade, cream pomade that you see here. Apply all pomades into your hand and emulsify 100% on all the front, back, and even in between your fingers. If done properly, you shouldn't even be able to see the pomade on your hands. That way we don't get uneven distribution onto the hair. So lightly, I'm going to begin to rub my hands across the surface. This will help with flyaways. You should be getting a light shine on the hair and not an oily appearance. That is not what we're going for here. Just a nice, beautiful glide on the hair. Prior to putting our ponytail in, we want to go ahead and get an elastic band with 2 bobby pins just like this on either side of it. The thickness of your elastic band really matters here. We want this ponytail to stay in super tight, so you need a nice, tight, secure elastic band. So by bringing all the hair up at the crown, using my tail comb to comb all the hair back and in the direction. And if you can see from where you're standing, all of this hair goes back very, very, very quickly and very, very easily. And that is all because we prep the hair with that blow drying and skimming it back in the direction that it's going to go. Once we get the ponytail in place, take that elastic band and 2 bobby pins, and you want to insert one of the bobby pins right behind your hand, just like so. Allow this to fall to the opposite side. We're going to come underneath that ponytail, and we're going to pull as much tension on that band as possible. Notice the stretch. Hold it with our thumb. Come back to the opposite side. Pull that bobby pin around 2 times. Come back. Notice I've made it all the way back around with my bobby pin. Here's the very prong of my pin. And I simply want to take those pins and stick it back inside of the hair just like that. This gives you a super beautiful tight ponytail. The benefit of applying the ponytail in this manner versus wrapping it around the strand. Now when the client gets home, if we educate them properly, all that they have to do is simply find the prongs of the bobby pin and push them up, and the ponytail will collapse. There's no more of the client getting home and pulling that elastic band down the strand and hearing happening in their hair, which is causing the integrity loss of the hair at that point. So quick and easy putting that ponytail in. A good rule of thumb when doing a ponytail, if it's not as smooth as you want it, we try to never go in with the teeth of our comb and comb the surface. That can cause more irregularities to occur. So if you'll simply take a tail comb, find where those irregularities occur, go under the surface, and pull them back to your ponytail area, this will help you get that smooth result that you're looking for. All right, my friends, don't be shy. Please reach out with any questions or concerns that you may have, and Daniel will fill those over to me. So anything so far, my friend Daniel?
Yep, we've got one question just regarding the cream that you're using and where you choose to get it from, and any specifications in the product specifically that you're using.
Good question. So instead of giving you a brand specific example, what I'd like to do is really teach you how to look for the texture of a pomade. So whenever you take a pomade and put it on your hand, you're looking for, whenever any type of pomade goes on your hand, you can feel that some of them have a cream feel as though it were like lotion. And some of them, when you stick them to your hand, they will be really sticky and actually kind of adhere quickly. So for this one, I'm looking for a pomade that is light enough that it feels like a cream lotion. I don't want anything heavy. I don't want anything sticky at this point. And most all brands that sell pomades will make that same style of cream textured pomade. Good question. For the next portion, guys, we're going to get another elastic band ready, but notice the thickness of this elastic band here. It's really thick, so it has a lot of tension to it to satisfy the next portion that we're going to do. I'm going to take you quickly through the fundamentals of back combing for this ponytail, because we're going to be making that really large chignon, and that only can occur in this hair texture by good back combing. So my friends, watch how this goes. If you're new to backcombing, here's what I want you to refrain from. Anyone who gets and keeps backcombing in the same spot over and over again, notice my comb is going back to the exact same location each time. That is going to make an area of backcombing or a nest of some type that will be very challenging to get out. Backcombing should stack. In other words, each new pass should come just up until the last pass. So notice what's happening with my comb now. It's working its way up the strand. I don't continue pushing old hair into, or excuse me, new hair into the old section over and over again. So as I'm working my way down, simply backcombing, this is stacking and it's building up on the last portion. Got a nice, beautiful section that's backcombed there. For this specific look, we're going to take section 2 from underneath. When you're creating one large voluminous shape, each new section should be backcombed in with the last section. We don't want independent section backcombing for this look. So notice they will uniform together and we're going to stack our way, build our way down the strand. You wouldn't, somebody said, now I know why I suck at backcombing. Well, I'm glad you're here finding some new best practices. So here we go. Third one.
Jason, as you keep backcombing this, any recommendations for if someone wanted to do this on any multicultural or variety of texture of hair?
Of course. So my friends, keep in mind that backcombing is really kind of roughening up the cuticle layer of the hair. So the cuticle layer, if you think of the cuticle layer like a Christmas tree, so think about how the tree could close down onto the bark. So hair that is, has a lot of texture already in it, that could be a little bit more difficult to actually remove once it's gone in. So this is being performed on medium texture hair here. It could be even more along the lines of wavy. Good question.
Now, so the recommendation, of course, would be then if it's curly, that tight curly, to possibly use an iron to help smooth it out.
Absolutely. Press it first.
And with this too, another question came in is, as you're adding these sections, is it important to ensure that you're adding them together or should they be backcombing them individually?
Well, that's a wonderful question. We want this all to turn into one entire shape. Notice you wouldn't even know that this were separate sections. So you want to make sure each new one is combined in with the last one. Wonderful question. Because we're making a very large chignon here. Notice it's building up. These are really good questions. I'm going to take my last section and then begin to build up on it. Now, I've been doing this for around 20 years, my friends, and I hear this from students all over the country. This looks like a rat's nest. Well, guess what? Good backcombing may look like a rat's nest temporarily, but it's going to smooth out and it's going to be beautiful when it's done without damaging the hair. It's those few steps that I just recommend to you to keep to make sure we're keeping the integrity of the hair by building up. Don't stay in one spot over and over again. And you'll now see why. By building, you're going to really benefit yourself because the smoothing portion is going to be far easier. So now we want to go in and gently start spreading that backcombing. You know you've done this properly when you go, and you can feel the resistance in the hair. But if you're ever separating and you get these quick bursts where the backcombing has separated, the backcombing was not put in smoothly or evenly throughout the strand. Any more questions there, DD?
Yep, we've got one more related to the technique that you're doing here. If someone were to have fine texture hair, how can you help create a texture that they could work on?
Good question. So with fine textured hair, we always are trying to add in strength somehow. A hairspray can work as a good product for it. Also, you have some powder products that you can put into the hair to give it a little bit of grit as you're working. So with that in mind, here's what I want you to think about. Hairspray direction is key, especially with that fine hair question. Is, my friends, if you think about this for a moment, we obviously are trying to create a rough surface here. But in a moment, we want to create a smooth surface on the top. So it is important that your hairspray direction, when you're trying to create a smooth surface, goes from base to ends. We want the spray to lay on it and actually lay the cuticle down. But on fine hair, if you're trying to get it to have a little more texture to it, as underneath, the hairspray should go ends to base. This actually opens the cuticle up and it will cause them to lock on each other and give yourself a little bit more grit. So base to ends when smooth and ends to base from underneath when rough. So really keep that in mind. You can actually work against yourself and be counterproductive just by simply putting your hairspray in the wrong direction. All right.
Jason, one more question before you move
Sure.
forward there. Would you mind just showing the comb that you used for that back combing and
Of
sharing
course.
any preferences and why you made that choice?
So this is our handcrafted bone comb from Pivot Point. And the key thing for me when I'm picking out a tool for back combing, and I want a medium to fine tail comb, because I want the teeth of these to be close together so that they back comb easily. If you choose a comb where the teeth are too far apart, you're going to get very little back combing and also unevenness in those open gaps. So a medium to fine tail comb is perfect for those back combing choices. Now let's look at the smoothing. If you have gone in and put in that back combing just right, I'm going to tell you guys, I know you can't feel this from where you are, but I am just barely gliding over the surface of this hair. A very delicate touch here, and I do not hear any noise coming from this, like, or, and that means that you're doing this properly. You're really maintaining the client's integrity of their hair. We shouldn't compromise 365 days worth of health in their hair just for that one event. We want to make sure to keep all of the integrity in the hair as well. So I'm going gently over the surface. And notice as we're doing the back combing here, it's in a fan appearance. It's starting to get wide on the side. So I'm going to stand behind this where you can see. It's starting to fan out to the right, smooth in the center, and it's starting to fan out in the left. Okay? And this is only our initial back combing. All right. Now time for our chignon placement. Okay? Again, we'll be doing quite a bit more smoothing in just a moment. So I love this technique. I think you'll fall in love with it as well today. This is where that large elastic band and two bobby pins are going to come in. So let me get this on camera where you can see it really well. So you're simply going to go underneath the section, and you're going to hold this where the prongs of the bobby pins are pointing outward. Notice I have a hold of the round end of the bobby pin. We want the bobby pins to go outward, just like this, where I can stretch the pin. When you come under, like so, you're going to lift it from underneath it up, press it against the head, turn the bobby pins in, and insert right where you are. So if you're to lift these up, this is exactly what it should look like from underneath. This has now placed that all up quickly and easy for us to be able to secure it. Take a large bobby pin, grab a hold of the elastic band, and go vertically right down and behind our elastic band here. This anchors that in place, so there's lots of movement can happen with the body. Lots of tension can occur as well, and it's going to stay in place really well for her. At that point, we're going to give it a spread. And I'm going to spread this from above so that you can see exactly what it looks like. It starts turning into that beautiful image that you saw that Daniel posted for us earlier.
Jason, can you speak a little bit about your brush choice for smoothing?
Of course. So my friends, whenever you're smoothing, you're going to choose a good cushion product. You know, you want a nice cushion brush. You know, there are many brands out there on the market, and I use a small, notice there are double-edged bristles here. So the longer bristles get some of that surface back coming out, and the shorter bristles are what are responsible for really getting the smoothness on the surface as well. Good question. All right.
This question would also go to a little bit of your back combing you did earlier, speaking to the different heights of teeth. Would you recommend doing any back combing with the combs that have the serrated or kind of varying lengths to the teeth?
Of course, you know, there's so many products out there, and it's what's really important, especially with new students, is that when they see these type of products on the market, if they're affordable, go ahead and play around with them, because what works best for me may not be the exact, you know, tool that's going to work best for you. So you'll want to just really try those out, you know, whenever you get the opportunity. Good question. So watch how this is. We're going to secure this now, my friend. On the right-hand side, we're simply going to hold it in place, just like this. You'll really be able to start to see that take place using a large bobby pin. You notice I don't use a lot of really short bobby pins because I want to get a lot of great hold with that product. And so these large bobby pins are usually my go-to. Moving throughout, I'm going to do one more bobby pin. And what's key, what is key, and I can't stress this enough, everyone, it's when you are connecting something to the scalp, I want you to notice the hair that I'm connecting this to underneath is going at a diagonal like this. It's important that when your bobby pins go in, they don't go on the same diagonal because they will simply work their way out. It's important that when bobby pinning, you change the angle so that it goes across the hair underneath it and creates structure by locking itself in place. Any more questions there, Dee?
Yep, we've got a couple for you. So going into some of the separation, once you have the hair back comb and some of that spray in there, any damage caused by spreading and separating the hair?
Improper back combing can cause damage, but when this is done exactly in the manner that I've shown you and it's taken out properly with the same method I use for smoothing, you're talking about minimal damage occurring in the hair. Like I said, there are no noises available whenever it's coming out. You can see that there's no snagging, there's no difficulty. Her head is not moving as a result of any kind of aggression having to be done to take these tools out. Great question. Take what's remaining here left from the left-hand side, bring it down to the center, get all the hair in the hand here, just like this. You can really see that beautiful shape starting to take place. And going to move and begin twisting this hair to the right. Look at the beautiful twist that's occurring. As you twist the hair, simply you're going to lift the opposite side and gently drape it underneath. Remember, keep in mind those large bobby pins there, and you're trying to find against the hair that's in. I'm going to go across, and we're simply going to tuck those ends away. Before really letting it go, we're going to take one last bobby pin here, insert it in. And what a cool shape that you start to get there. Notice that the overall effect of it, a beautiful chignon that she has. And my friends, when you've had time to perfect this, and you've done this as many times as I have, you'll get to the point where this specific look will take on average of about 7 to 14 minutes when you're in the salon. So when you've practiced it, that means that you're getting down to $75 and $80 for 15 minutes of the overall work of it. So this look could absolutely satisfy one client who's classic. But let's take it one step further and show you how to really deconstruct. Look at the technique that I'm going to use. So I call this twiddling. So we're going to go in, you're going to get two pieces of hair sectioned next to each other, and you're going to gently begin to twiddle them. Now, if you were on my seminar yesterday, you'll know that my general rule for deconstructing is do a little bit, come back and do some more. Don't try to pull this too quickly because you may create a separation that you can't repair if it goes beyond what you need it to. So look how cool this is. This becomes very Lady Gaga inspired here with the top knot that she wore for a very long time. And what is so amazing to me is now when you look at this from a profile, you really get this contrast of smooth and rough textures together. So I'm going to work on it just a little bit more so you can see this final result. Give it one last secure here. So if you're interested in editorial hair, this is kind of the way to get that. And that is to really learn those skills necessary to do some editorial, organic, more randomized, not too perfect hair. Any questions?
Yep, we've got a couple for you, Jason. So when talking about overall look, was there any type of prep work that you did prior to setting in this chignon design?
Wonderful question. So we did the directional blow dry, which means I took a hot blow dryer and skimmed it back in the direction that I was going to put the ponytail in. By going over the surface, that got all the hair to come back in that spot. And then with the ponytail, I just did a few large barrel curls to make it in there. So pretty easy prep that went into place. And here is Diana's final look of a more organic, editorial, quick updo chignon. Pretty easy. So it could be smooth or rough, your choice. Any questions? All
We've
right.
got just a couple more for you here. So when it comes to the hairspray, any specific type of hairspray when working with spraying for the back combing? And a part two
Good.
to that is, would you ever spray the hairspray onto the comb rather than onto the hair?
You absolutely can use that technique of spraying the comb to help with detailing. But the one thing to keep in mind is because we're in process of building a shape, a working spray is always recommended. So we're staying away from any type of hairspray that would be a freeze hairspray. You want something that, hey, if it goes in the wrong spot and you need to adjust it, that you're not locked into place. So as you're building a good working spray. Now, when you're completely done with it, you may choose to put a little freezing spray over it, but you want to use something that's moldable while building. Great question. So my friends, this is going to be our second look, which is the look that you saw on the cover of our Fluidity. And this look is going to be a double stranded knot. So I'm going to quickly show you how to do this off scalp. That way that when I get to start putting it on scalp, you'll be able to really understand this technique. So notice we're going to start today with 2 strands. And in these 2 strands, I'd like you to practice making a gun with your index, middle finger, and your thumb like this. You're going to put your 2 fingers down, pointed toward the floor, clamp the left with your thumb, and bring the right across and put it in the thumb with it. Notice you have 2 strands, the left and the right. So let me show you that again. Pow, pow, shoot the gun, it goes toward the floor. Clamp the left, bring the right across, and put it in the same area with it, just like that. The left strand comes up and goes in your little finger. And that allows you to drop the new left strand. Now this left strand goes all the way around 360 degrees, just like so. You put it between your index and middle finger, and you simply bring it through the hole. Notice this technique gives you a very secure, beautiful double knot, and the 2 tails stay the exact same length for us to be able to work on throughout this entire process. So let me show it to you again and again to show how it's going to look on her forehead here. To get you a nice close-up view of Miss Vanessa's forehead. This is my second go-to mannequin. Those of you that are going to follow me on Instagram, you will see that about 75% of all of my looks are done on this beautiful lady here, Vanessa. So let me get you a quick close-up look. Here we go. We're going to start with a small half circle in the front. Detail, neatly clean it up. And then we're going to divide that into 2 equal sections. Subdivide here. Remember, here's our gun. It goes in toward the floor. I'm pointing it toward her head and floor. Clamp and bring the other across and put it in the same finger. So you should free up one hand every time. The left comes up and goes in your little finger. And now you free up the new left. Okay. It goes around 365 degrees, and it goes between that index and middle finger. And then that allows you to pull it up and through the circle and give it a nice tight knot that you see here. Okay, pay close attention. I'll do it again for you. Once the knot is in place, look, I can let it go. And because of this technique, it holds onto itself pretty well. But we're now going to take and we're going to add a section of hair from the right into the right strand. So it's actually blending in to that strand. We're going to repeat that technique. We're going to take a small section of hair from the left, and we're going to add it into the left strand. So that puts us back to the beginning. We now have 2 strands again. Get you up close. I'm going to give you a different angle as I'm tying this time to see if it makes sense. Here's my gun toward the floor. Clamp. Bring it across. It comes around to your little finger. And your new left comes around. See that index and middle finger clamp right there? It's going right in that position. And that allows me to pull it right up and through and tie it in a knot. Step number 2, wonderful, wonderful technique. Any questions there, Daniel?
Yes, Jason, can you share what prep work you did? A few people noticed some of that texture to her scalp area. Can you explain some of the prep work done there?
Of course. If you saw the image again, as far as our fluidity collection went on the front, I also did the same thing to this mannequin, and that is use a mini crimper prior to getting started because I wanted her to have a lot of volume in her hair. And I also love to see this texture that's occurring inside of it. So a very micro crimper was used prior to getting started to really give her guts, to really make her be a lot larger and to make her have more volume in place. Good question. Notice how it goes in the two fingers. When it turns, it comes through the strand, and there's that beautiful two-strand twist. Notice how they sit one right after the other. And of course, as you scroll through the Instagram, you'll see a lot of different variations of this. Some I leave really tight and snug, and some I loosen up. We're gonna deconstruct her today to give her a much different feel. So here's my two sections. Every time the gun goes in, it goes to the floor. Bring the left across. It goes in your little finger. Now the left goes around and inside your index and middle finger. And we simply pull that strand up and through the hole. Let's add our last section before moving forward. Above the ear here, going into the section. We're gonna do this as a half up, half down, just like in the collection photo, so that you can see how versatile, but you'll see many examples of this on the Instagram page of it being done all the way down the back of the head. So once you get your last section in, little finger, bring it around in your index and middle finger as well. And we're simply going to give it a tie. And at the very last section, you're going to bring the ends together, just like this, my friend. Bring the ends together. Once the ends are brought together, a small elastic band is going to be used to secure those. And I really love this technique because when someone gets home, we've educated them that, hey, there's only one band in that whole design holding her together. Look how awesome the look is and feel once this is done, of this half up, half down style, done with knotting. Excuse me. So clean her up. She not only has a beautiful appearance from the back, but she also has a beautiful profile as well. And these are nicely projected above the head because of that micro crimping that occurred. If you don't want to leave them as tight as this, we can also now start to go into those knots and begin to expand them, deconstruct them, separate them. It's so cool here of all the things that you can do to this knot. And these are so secure. I mean, somebody could go out dancing all night long. Her wedding day, she would not have to worry about her hair falling. Bridesmaids would not have to worry about it falling because this knot is so nicely secure in there and only being held by one elastic band. So any questions? I'll open it up for any more final questions before we see the two looks together.
Yep, we've got two questions related to this look. First, can you use this technique and this look with any hair additions or any hair extensions?
Absolutely. So we actually mentioned this on a similar look yesterday. Notice that nothing at the scalp is being affected here. So if there are tape ends at the scalp, if there are fusion extensions at the scalp, nothing would bother them whatsoever. You're absolutely can do extensions on the hair first and then do this look. It would be beautiful. Good question.
Another question is, would you be able to use any type of a cream while performing this technique?
That's a great question too. So because I used the micro crimper here, I didn't need a lot of products to help me with hold. But if you're not crimping the hair prior to, absolutely. That same cream texture that we used earlier, emulsified, that feels like a lotion when it's done. Notice, friends, my hands are not sticking to each other here. So I'm using a medium hold cream-based product that creates a light glide without creating high shine. I try to stay away from any kind of product that creates super high shine with long hair because it tends to make the hair separate and it can tend to make the hair fall apart. So keep that in mind. A medium product, cream-based, that's not too sticky. Because if you start working with really high pomades, heavy pomades, and you want to keep molding the hair, it just won't allow it to happen. The hair will actually lock up on you. So you'll get the experience of, hey, that feels like lotion going on my hands. And after a few minutes of working with the hair, all of it has been removed from my hands, but yet you notice from seeing the hair that it doesn't have a high shine. So that's really what you're looking for. Great question.
Great. This is another one from your use of the bobby pins. Do you have a certain side of the bobby pin that you ensure is closest to the scalp when placing them in?
You know, I get that question a lot, actually, because a lot of people, always say, hey, the flat edge should go against the surface of the head. But if I'm in a pinch, those bobby pins can go in any direction whatsoever, because as long as one of the prongs is against the scalp, it's going to hold on to the hair. But a key thing to keep in mind, if you're attaching things to the scalp, a bobby pin is the right tool. But if you're attaching components of long hair to other components of long hair, a hairpin is the way to go. For instance, if I wanted to make this piece of hair stand up on top of this piece of hair, that's when I would go in more with a hairpin. But when I'm trying to get something to attach to the actual scalp, that's when I'm going in with a bobby pin. So that's the thing to keep in mind with those two tools. Great questions they have.
Great. One more here related to this look. What would you recommend doing with the remainder of the length for this? Is there anything that you would do to finish it out or leave it free flowing?
Well, you can absolutely keep going with the technique all the way down, but this is, like I said, done with a half up, half down technique that we did with our collection. But please go on my Instagram and see that, Daniel provided that earlier. You'll see that I've done it in tight ones all the way down. I've done one going down each side of the head. There's so many different variations, and you'll know the technique the minute you see it on the Instagram page. And please feel free to ask me any questions on there. I'll be glad to follow up and walk you through it. I also, a lot of times, will even do like a quick time-lapse video for people. If you're like, hey, I want to see this done, we can do that as well. So just contact me through Instagram and we'll communicate with each other. Great question. I'm going to give this a little push back to give it some volume here. And once I get it pushed back into the position that I want, I'm going to give it one final bobby pin. And notice that'll stand right up there. Give her plenty of volume, a great profile view of the look. So everyone, thank you so much. We're going to stick around for just a minute. Daniel's going to follow back up with you, and I'm going to clean both of the looks up and have them ready for a final preview at the end. Take it away, my friend Daniel.
Great. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys just a little bit more information that we have regarding this giveaway time. I'm sure that you all have been waiting for, as I teased you with a little bit at the beginning. But once again, you guys are invited now to enter in the giveaway for this amazing prize package that's valued at over $1,000. In order to do so, grab your cell phones right now and text your first and last name to 888-544-7254. Again, you need to text your first and last name to 888-544-7254. One winner will be randomly selected after this class session is completed, so you'll receive a text in return if you were the one that was selected and are the winner. With this, what's included in this kit, just to share with you guys a little bit of what's coming, is we do have a variety of tools from Andis. We have the Andis Nation adjustable blade clipper, the cordless Envy Li or lithium ion. We also have the Slimline Pro lithium ion cord or cordless rechargeable trimmer. Pretty amazing clipper tools here. Long lasting ability to go cord or cordless. You've got the clipper itself. You've got about 2 hours of runtime with a charge time of only 90 minutes. Working with this, again, really great high quality product produced right in the USA. We also have the Slimline Pro cord or cordless rechargeable trimmer. Same thing, this amazing lithium ion battery will deliver up to 2 hours of runtime. So this trimmer also has an improved motor for increased speed, power, and life. So that is included in this bundle. You also have the Ergo round brush info. Here we've got a couple of different brushes available as part of this bundle. You're looking at the diamond head brush. A very unique shape to this brush that allows you to get into tight spaces like the nape, the fringe area, and the side with utmost ease. We also have the polishing paddle brush. We've got the shark fin shears also available here. So if you're not familiar with that, of course, they're hand forged, hand welded, Japanese 440A steel. And if you're familiar, you also have the shark fin patented handle system and unique finger fitting system. And also from Pivot Point, we've got the fan favorite Erica mannequin. Erica has been a go-to mannequin for many professionals all across the world, stage artists, educators, and students alike. So using this, her length provides you a variety of different practicing techniques from cutting, styling, and chemicals, including color, because she is 100% human hair. So colors show quite phenomenally on her. So again, one more time, in order to enter the giveaway for this bundle, you've got to text your first and last name to 888-544-7254. So again, keep an eye out for that. Again, if you are selected as a winner, they will text you your response. Again, this is a Shark Fin that is giving away this bundle. So they'll be the one that actually selects the winner and contacts you. If they contact you, they'll let you know all the information as far as how to receive it and the whole 9 yards. So again, text your first, last name, 888-544-7254. With that, looks like, Jason, you may have brought your lovely models back out. So I want to go ahead and spotlight you so you can share a little bit on those completed looks.
Thank you, Daniel. Everyone, thank you so much for joining Daniel and I today on this Fluidity collection. It's been really a pleasure to give you an overview on our Vanessa mannequin of our 2-strand double twist and our knot, excuse me, and also on our Diana mannequin of just a classic chignon that can be deconstructed. It's been a true pleasure to be here with you. Please don't forget to follow us at JER9776 and also Pivot Point International, and to visit our website, pivot-point.com. It's been a true pleasure. We hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and thanks again for joining.
Great. Once again, thank you, everyone. If a few questions came in, if you were a previous winner, again, just stay in touch. They will continue to text you and let you know. But once again, thank you, everyone, for joining. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.